Well, that's why I'm happy for Ryan Burge. He lost his
Well,
pastor job. But
because now again, like doors are open to him that weren't open before. He could
yeah.
probably influence a lot more people with the ability to do the work that he's doing now than a small congregation. Now, not everybody's like that. A lot of people are more of a one-on-one type of servant. I'm not. I don't
Yeah.
want to do any one-on-one. So
All right. Let's do quick clips.
As the cold winds of winter sweep in, there's nothing like the warmth of a comforting cup to help you slow down and unwind. This is the season. Let Postum be your cozy companion. Made from roasted grains, Postum is caffeine-free and rich with a smooth roasted flavor. It's the perfect drink for those quiet, chilly mornings. Whether you're curled up with a good book, sharing a laugh with loved ones, or simply watching the snow fall outside, a cup of Postum is the moment you have been waiting for.
If you like meaningful LDS products that don't feel mass-produced, you should check out Latter Day 3D Studio. We design and 3D print magnets of many varieties, including temples and the Christus, as well as clean modern ties you can wear to church or inside the temple. Use code LDS for 15% off, available now for listeners. Everything is thoughtfully designed, printed in-house, and created to quietly reflect faith without being flashy. Head to latterday3dstudio.com and don't forget to use code LDS again at checkout to save an extra 15%. Latter Day 3D Studio, meaningful faith, thoughtfully made.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Latter Days.
Bum-ba-da-dum. Hello.
I'm Matt. Melissa's with me as always. Well, no, there was that time you did it without me, but almost always.
Almost as almost always, I'm here with you. We're so excited to be recording this week in Latter Days.
Melissa, I haven't talked to you since the new year began. Have you had
since the last time we podcasted, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah.
We talk when we podcast.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I saw you. I saw you at our grandmother's funeral. Okay. I'm just joking.
We're fine. We talk all the time.
Yeah, it's fine. I missed you at a different family event, but that's okay.
Okay.
Anything fun and exciting happening in your life, Melissa?
There's always something fun and exciting happening in my life. But wait, I want to go back and talk about the family event that I missed, actually. I didn't miss it. I was there via Zoom. So first thing is, I didn't know we were still doing church via Zoom. My ward definitely isn't. Is your ward?
No, but if you have enough elderly people in your ward, I think they still do it via Zoom.
They still send it out via Zoom. Okay, interesting. Okay, second thing, the event that I missed but I saw via Zoom was a mission return, a homecoming of somebody, our nephew, who has served a service mission. Matt, I learned so much about service missions. I had no idea.
It was a very informative homecoming address.
It was.
What did you learn?
And touching. I actually was also very touched by it. Well, I guess I thought that when you got called to a service mission, that you got called to a specific type of service. I didn't know that you had to set up the service that you were going to do all day, every day. I didn't realize that. That is, I mean, I know that missionaries, like when you're called to serve in, say, Cincinnati, you still have to like fill your day with appointments and stuff like that. But I didn't realize that was the deal. So yeah, our nephew did stuff like serve food or prepare food and deliver it to people in need. He worked at a data center for the church. He worked in one of the temples doing laundry, like all kinds of different things. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting and cool. And I was left with like, wow, how much humility that takes at that age of life to put aside, marriage and dating and school and money, all those things to do service. I was so impressed. I did not know that you had to set everything up.
Well, and I could tell from his homecoming address that his mission for him was every bit as transformative as a proselyting mission is for proselyting missionaries.
Oh yeah, it was the perfect mission for him. I think he did an amazing job. But I guess maybe I'm kind of in the dark. I guess I just didn't realize all of that.
I don't think I could be a proselyting mission or a service missionary because I too could fill my day with service and I don't fill my day with service. And if there was like a mission coordinator whose job it was to like follow up and be like, so how are you doing on your service? I'd be like, I am so sorry. I keep missing your calls. I don't know if I blocked your number.
I think
It'd be hard.
one of those service coordinators would be kind of a cool calling too. Can you
Oh,
explain a little
really?
bit like what that was? Like, so
Yeah. Yeah. So my neighbor, he's over the service coordinators for like missions in the Idaho area. But basically, service coordinators work within the mission and they work with the service missionaries and they help them identify and set up opportunities to serve. And then they just follow up with them regularly to make sure like things are safe and things are going well and they're having a good experience.
yeah. Okay.
And they
Well,
also have, I learned that service missionaries also have like districts, and there's a district leader, and they have the regular. But they didn't. He called it a different word than a district. I don't know what it was, but
but they have
get.
like zone conferences and all of that.
Yeah, they do zone conferences with the proselyting missionaries, but like they get together with because they don't have companions, so they get together with groups of other service missionaries and study the scriptures.
Yeah. Anyways, I learned a lot. I always just kind of thought, like, when I think about doing a mission, as a senior, I don't want to do a proselyting mission. I think you would
Yeah.
like to do a proselyting mission. I don't want to. I want to do some sort of a service mission, but I know for seniors, you get to just like look on the church website and be like, oh, I think I'll do this in this place. So I guess I kind of figured that's what service missions were for the younger elders too, but not so.
Hey, I have another bit of news, Melissa. I don't know exactly. It's probably not news yet, but kids today are doing things different than I'm used to.
Oh, are
So,
they? That never happens generation to generation.
so my daughter and her boyfriend have set a wedding date.
Oh,
She's purchased a wedding dress.
this is
She,
big news, Matt.
I
She's
know,
not engaged yet that I know of.
right. She had,
Oh, is that what you're saying?
yeah, they've reserved the venue, and so we know the time, the place, the dress is all there, but they're not engaged. I think he's ordered a ring that's maybe on its way, but like, isn't that like to me that's so opposite of how I did it?
Huh. Okay, that is opposite of how we did it. I don't think it's uncommon these days, but I do think it's weird. Well, okay, because is it just like we want to have the perfect engagement? I know a lot of couples, it's like, we're not going to get engaged until, he can set it up and we can have a photographer there and all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. Is it that kind of thing?
She heard my engagement story her whole life, and she doesn't want that story. And so she wants to be surprised. She wants it to be romantic, but she doesn't want to know when it's happening. And so we
Okay.
can plan the wedding, but the engagement, so it's like the engagement itself is an event. And this is the other thing I've learned. Photos at the wedding don't happen at the wedding anymore. We take photos way in advance or on a different day in the dress and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what about the whole thing of like you can't see the bride in her dress before the wedding day? Like,
Well, they have this first look thing that you do when you're taking your pictures,
what is that?
but it's not on your wedding day. It's the first time he sees you in the dress before you start taking the pictures.
Okay, so my daughter-in-law's sister recently, she got married over the weekend, and I saw a photo from their wedding, and it was like the guy's facing a totally different direction, and she's like standing behind him in the wedding dress. And I was like,
Right.
what is that? And then she's like, it's the first look. I'm like, he's not looking at anything, but okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is
I
the
have
photo.
a question. Did he ask you and Sandra if he could ask for?
No.
Do you expect him to do that? Do you want him to do that?
Well, we spent several nights together on a cruise, and like we shared a room.
By we, you mean you and your future son-in-law.
That's right.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
Luke and I spent a week together sharing a room on a cruise because we wanted to get to know each other better. And I feel like if he was going to ask, that's when he would have asked. And no,
okay, that's interesting.
I don't think he cares. Yeah.
But do you care?
No, I don't. I mean, what am I going to say? I would have said, you should have married her a long time ago. What are you waiting for, buddy?
Well, when my daughter got engaged, it was different. This was only, 5, I don't know how long she's been married. But anyways, she wanted to make sure that her husband, that he asked not just her father, but her father and her mother. So if he was going to do it, they wanted to make sure that it was from the dad and the mom. But we were on a trip together. We were staying on our boat down, and I think we were in Flaming Gorge. And we'd been together all weekend, and we kind of knew that he was like going to ask us soon, anyways, we get to the end of the trip and nothing's happened. And finally he just says, Morgan, you stay down there. So he puts her down below in the cabin, shuts the door, comes up top to where we're driving and goes, hey, so I need to ask you guys a question. And
No way, on a boat.
Because he was like, I gotta spit this out. I gotta get this done. It was delightful.
Wow, that's fun.
People do things differently, I guess.
This is the other thing. It seems that nobody wants to have wedding receptions in church buildings anymore. That's the other thing. I don't understand this. Like,
you don't, Matt?
Do you know our reception was in a primary chapel of a church building, and we decorated it with like paper, I don't know, like streamers of some kind, orange streamers that we like. You wouldn't know the difference of our wedding reception and like a primary ball, the fall ball or something like that. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand. It's all different. I think
that's exciting. I can't wait to hear how you work through all of this, Matt, and try to not sound old.
Yesterday, my wife was like, hey, let's go to Desert Industries. And then we're like looking. I didn't realize we were looking for decorations.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she found some things. And I was like, I don't know. That seems kind of tacky. And then I got in trouble. And I was like, okay, I am not sharing any more opinions about this.
That is the right move.
I'm just going to be like, that's so good. I love that. We're going to save so much money buying that at Desert Industries. And she's going to be like, yeah, we're retro or something. I don't know.
No, Sandra and Melanie will make it beautiful. It will be lovely. And yeah, you're just going to keep your mouth shut. That's the right move.
Here's the other one. I have to keep my mouth shut. You have to tell me what you think about this one.
Okay.
For place settings, my daughter has decided she wants to have like a mason jar and have a goldfish inside of every mason jar.
Okay, you're right. This is remarkably planned out for not being engaged yet. Go on.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I know. They want goldfish. And we have a tiny little pond in the front of our house. And her fiance was like, well, they're not fiance yet, but the man was like, we can only have the goldfish if we promise not to kill them immediately. And I was like, I'll dump them all in my pond. And he's like, okay, that's fine. I'm like, they won't last long. All right, let's get to the comments. Melissa, listeners may not know this, but you and Tiffany have started doing YouTube shorts.
And you.
Oh, yeah, I did a YouTube short. And so some of these comments come from YouTube shorts, but some of them are from our last episode.
Okay.
0 of them, not to chastise you, listener, 0 of them come from the email address that is now a new email address that you can send. But that's okay. If you want to comment on videos, that's okay.
Yes, please. However you want to comment is fine.
At Stephanie Huntsman 6232 says, T Wild! Exclamation point. I don't know what that means. T Wild.
Yeah, it means that's what instead of TWIM.
Oh.
T Wild is the acronym for the new name of the podcast. Latter Days.
Oh,
T Wild.
Okay, I love it. That's beautiful.
Okay.
At Ms. Goldfishy. Ms.
Goldfishy, that's what you need to contact her for the table settings for the wedding.
She doesn't want us to know if Goldfishy is her maiden name or her married name. That's why she's
it's Ms.
Goldfishy. Yeah.
Okay.
If you recall, we did like big deal, little deal, no deal for something about there was a member of our church who went to Minnesota. This is before all of the ICE stuff. Went to Minnesota and took videos about fraud and waste or something. Yeah. I have to give the background because Minnesota's in the news right now for different things.
Right.
And I had said little deal, but this person, Ms. Goldfishy, says, big deal for the Minnesota fraud segment. We are called to be disciple citizens, to be engaged in positive ways in the community. Bravo for him being willing to put himself out there. Kudos to classes, Foundations of the Restoration, and Civics 150, Citizenship and Constitutional Government, for teaching to be engaged by action.
Those sounds like the names of classes that you teach as a professor. Those sound like the names of... I think you missed the mark on that one, Matt. I think our listeners all agreed that it was a big deal and that you poo-pooed it. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, I love that Ms. Goldfishy shouted out classes I teach as
I do too.
Evidence of why.
Evidence of why you were wrong. Yep.
Now, Melissa did a short on Netflix about Christianity and religion in films. And so this person said, this is at JG6520-C5I. This movie gives a standard, watered-down portrayal of Christianity and suggests, as most movies in the mainstream with religious characters, the religion is just a took of manipulation.
A
Oh, probably
tool.
tool. A tool of manipulation by crooks and creeps. Ha!
I have a comment to the comment.
Yeah, you good.
Okay, well, first of all, the news story was something published by Tad Walsh, and it was based on new research that says that Americans want more religion in their TVs and movies. And they want portrayals of normal and natural religion. They don't want portrayals of like, oh, this is a church and this is how they behave, but just characters who are living their religion. They'd love to see a lot more of that in TV and movies. I couldn't agree more. And I just made a parallel to that to the most current movie that I've seen where they did that, which is the new Knives Out movie. I can't remember what it's called. But if you've seen it, you know what I mean.
Dead man. Wake up, dead man.
Wake up, dead man. I thought it was a beautiful portrayal of religion. I thought it took a lot of sides, but not just one. But what I liked about it is that the main character is a priest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, he's
right? He's a priest.
Definitely. Yeah.
In the Catholic Church. And I just like that he's very faithful. He also is able to address struggles that other characters in the movie bring to him. And I think that he's also like a very normal person. He's not overly pious. I thought it was wonderful. What did you think, Matt? Did you watch it?
I watched it and I liked it. I don't agree with the listener's comment on that, but I didn't feel like I thought they were original, interesting characters, but that's okay.
And don't you think that in general, if we could just portray religious people as normal people, no matter what their religion is, and not make the movie about religion, but just watch people living their religion? I mean, the overwhelming evidence shows that that's what people want.
You know what? Now this is tangentially related. So in Rexburg, they have like every Thanksgiving they get together, an orchestra plays in the tabernacle, and then people sing along. And somebody put like the congregation or that group of people singing one of those Thanksgiving hymns on YouTube, and it has, I think, almost 200,000 views. And so then people in the community are like, let's do this again. Let's just record hymns, just people singing. We're not going to rehearse. We're just going to open up the hymn book and sing. And so I think that's the fact. I mean, that's not millions of views. That's not Mr. Beast, but it's also not the same production quality of that. I think people do want religious content when they can get it. Just ordinary people being religious in ordinary ways.
Okay. Hey, before you read the next listener comment, I do want to say what that story was about, that this comment was about.
Okay.
So basically, it was a story from Ryan Burge, who does religious data and surveys. He did a really large survey. It was huge. I can't remember the exact numbers now, but he did a huge survey of college students, big enough that it's significant. And basically, I think it was between 60 and 70% of college students have never attended a religious service, like ever. Yeah. And so that's what I was responding to. And that's what this comment is responding to. And it's from at the generic E.
No, it's the Generese. I don't know what it is.
Is it Jana Reese?
No, it's at the Generese.
Generese. Okay. They say, my mom is in her 90s and was saying that when she was younger, one of the first questions you would ask someone is, where do you go to church? It was a normal, common part of life. Kids who don't have this background are more vulnerable to the inventions of their instructors. Matt, again, a comment to you as a political science instructor.
I wish I had influence on young people. I would influence them, for example, to do the readings or to complete assignments on time or to come to class. I wish I had the kind of influence that people think I have.
Yeah, I wish you did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I liked your story, Melissa, because Ryan Burge is a colleague of mine that I keep in touch with, as well as I keep in touch with all my friends. And I didn't know he had moved to Wash U until I saw that. I was like, no way, he went to Wash U. So I was super happy for Ryan. And that's why he has the money to do that big survey, because now he's at Wash U and he's got some cash. I would say you're going to see more stuff like that from Ryan, not less, because now he's got cash he didn't have before.
I think he's doing great work. Cool. Okay, let's go to quick clips.
Wait. Sorry. Back to Ryan Burge. When he was at Eastern Illinois University, he was a pastor and had his own congregation, and then he lost his congregation. So I'm going to ask you, Melissa, a professional question. If you had the choice of being at like a smaller university with not a lot of research money and being a pastor, or you would have to give all that up to go to a prestigious university in St. Louis. Which would you rather do?
I'm taking the money.
Well, that's why I'm happy for Ryan Burge. He lost his
Well,
pastor job.
Because now again, like doors are open to him that weren't open before. He could probably influence a lot more people with the ability to do the work that he's doing now than a small congregation. Now, not everybody's like that. A lot of people are more of a one-on-one type of servant. I'm not. I don't want to do any one-on-one. So
all right, let's do quick clip.
The first quick clip is that we still have not had an announcement of a new apostle, and I totally thought we would by now.
No, President Oaks is different.
Go on.
Remember when we had 3 apostles called in the same general conference? It used to be somebody dies and you wait until the next general conference to fill the vacancy. And President Oaks is like an old school, let's do things the way they've always been done kind of guy, more than President Nelson was. And so we're not going to get a new apostle until general conference. And if by the way more people die before then we'll get a whole bunch of them at once, the way it used to be done before President Nelson got all crazy calling people all the time.
You can make that prediction. I'm saying over under whatever your wrong is.
My wrong would
before
be
April.
My wrong would be the Saturday morning session of general conference. If it's you're saying under, let's say before April 5th or whatever.
Yeah, it's the end of January. It'll be before then.
Okay, we'll find out.
Okay, we will.
All right, my quick clip is Minneapolis Latter-day Saints turn to Jesus and one another amid ICE crackdown. So there's a story, this one's in the Salt Lake Tribune, about members of the church. Minnesota is a politically divided state, Minneapolis especially, but they're a different kind of like politically divided. Like Republicans and Democrats aren't so strong in their partisanship as they are in other states. And so especially among members of the church, there are Republican members of our church who support what ICE is doing in Minneapolis, who are sacrificing their time and money to help people in need during all the protests. And there's Democrats doing the same. And I like this story because I think it's a very good representation of the kinds of people President Oaks has encouraged us to be, peacemakers on contentious issues.
Yeah, I agree. Today was a national day of protest. And I know at the school that I worked at that there was definitely protests going on outside of the school. We had students who left school to protest. And in my community where my school is, there are people affected, concerned, worried about immigration things. And so I kind of thought, like, what kind of person do I want to be today? Like, it's hard when all of this national stuff is going on and you have compassion and you have empathy. But then you're hearing other things from other sides, on social media. A lot of people are like, we believe in honoring, sustaining, obeying the law. Like that's our number one principle. And other people are like, oh, our number one principle is compassion. Or people are saying, well, here's what the church has really said about immigration. There's so much noise around it. I'm not saying it's not a serious issue. It is. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to get involved in it politically. I want to get involved in it empathetically, the way that the Minneapolis Latter-day Saints did. So regardless of if you're on the same side or have the same thoughts as someone else, you can be a minister first. And that's kind of how I decided I wanted to spend my day today. And I'm happy to spend an hour of it ministering to you. Maddie, what can I do for you?
You could record a podcast with me.
Perfect. Done.
I first heard about what was happening in Minnesota because I have a friend that teaches at a university in Minnesota, and he just messaged me and he's like, things are pretty scary here. Many of my friends who are immigrants, not undocumented immigrants, just all immigrants, he's like, they're afraid. And so they're not leaving their homes. And so I'm going to Costco and I do Costco runs and I grab diapers and I grab basic supplies for my immigrant friends who need just basic necessities. Can you give me some money? And I think that that's like a way that a lot of people handle these kinds of things. And I think that's the way we should handle them. Again, he wasn't saying anything political. He was just like, I have my community or my friends or my neighbors are in need. What can we do to help them? And I like that members of the church are the same way, that they're like, yeah, I'm going to just help people in need.
Yeah. And it feels better to have a place like that to put your focus, for me anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping to our next quick clip. They have released the big hitters who are going to be speaking at BYU Women's Conference this year.
I knew
They've
you
been
would love this.
announced. Matt, you know how I feel about women's conference. You know how I feel. I okay, I feel like it is a paid parade for general authorities that you can't listen to speak otherwise. Like, we should have the General Relief Society president who is going to be speaking, the first counselor in the General Young Women's Presidency, and Elder Bednar. We should have opportunities to hear them speak in general conference and not just in women's conference. And
Maybe Roots Tech. You're saying it should be at a conference that you don't have to pay money to go to.
yeah, that's what I feel
Yeah.
like. And I know they don't charge an extreme amount of money. They do charge money even just to stream it.
What?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. I
don't like
don't know.
that.
And so then you got to be a local Provo person. It caters to a very specific LDS crowd. It's not for me, but I know it builds and uplifts a lot of people. So please enjoy. That will be the big hitters at this year's women's conference, which will be April 29th through May 1st. And then also President
Wait.
Oaks. Oh, yeah.
Wait. So, because a friend of mine organized that artificial intelligence conference,
Oh, yeah.
and Elder Gong spoke at that artificial intelligence conference.
Right.
And it was interesting because, number one, they cared a lot about the venue where it was. He couldn't just have it anywhere. And number two, they were explicit that he could not charge money for people to
Right.
attend that conference. So it is
Right.
interesting that BYU, right, in some ways they get a pass on those sorts of rules. That
Yeah.
it's just interesting. And
the money doesn't go. I'm not saying
right.
that the money goes to the speakers. I'm not saying that. I know that BYU is a place
Sure,
that has to
but
pay for facilities and custodians and stuff like that. I'm just, yeah, I don't like it.
it's just interesting that there's different rules for different conferences. And there are some
Sure.
conferences at which Elder Bednar probably isn't going to go, right? And
Yeah.
anyhow, everybody who kind of knows a little bit knows that there's rules about general authorities, where they can go, what they can speak, what kind of permissions they have to get. And BYU's women's conference gets they get a special status for those sorts of requests. And so it is. I'm with you on your beef about that, because
Okay,
there are
thank you.
other good conferences. There are other good conferences that they could go to, and I think that they should have uniform rules. If one can charge, then everyone can charge, or no one can charge. It shouldn't be like one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Stand taken. Okay. President Oaks is going to speak at BYU's campus devotional on February 2nd. This is his first big devotional address, obviously, since he's been prophet. My question, Matt, is because you know about these kinds of things, is don't they release the list of speakers for the year like well in advance? Was he already slated to be a speaker before he was president of the church, or did he bump someone?
They released the schedule, but I don't recall seeing his name on the schedule when they released the schedule.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think that this
So-
is new. I think he just put himself in. I think President Oaks loves BYU, and
Yeah.
I personally think he doesn't know how long he has as president of the church, and this is a chance for him to give a speech to beat the BYU audience, especially to them, and something he wants to talk about. But yeah, I think this is a new thing. Do you think he's going to be president? You think he's going to live a long time?
I had never thought about it until you said that just now. Now you do tend to, predict death. That is one of your key trademarks. I don't know, Matt. Like, I haven't seen him out functioning a lot, like enough that I really know. What do you think?
He can't walk. He's in a wheelchair everywhere he goes.
Right.
So
But what
once a
does that
person's in the
mean?
condition, well, it often means you're not far from death. President Eyring has been in a wheelchair for a long, long time, but yeah, I don't know. It usually means you're kind of close to death, in my opinion.
But we're not seeing like Alzheimer's or anything like that, right? Dementia.
No, just aging, right? Just aging.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, my quick clip is, did the LDS Church really funnel $140 million to Hamas or other terrorist organizations? Okay, so...
Oh, have you seen this? A lot of people are talking about this.
Come on. Okay, so number one, Hamas. Although a terrorist organization is classified by the U.S. State Department or whatever, Hamas was the political leadership of the Palestinian territory. So, if you want to give humanitarian aid to Palestinians a little while ago, it had to go through Hamas. Muslim Brotherhood, same thing. Although some call them a terrorist organization, they are also a charitable organization. So the fact that our church and other charities gave money to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood does not suggest they're funding terrorism. They're just funding humanitarian efforts in Palestinian territories, which I'm 100% in support of. So this is
And
like
one step
such a
further, our
non-story.
church actually didn't directly donate to those people. They donated to relief organizations that then donated to these organizations.
You have to
like
work with them, right?
Several steps removed is all I'm saying too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, that's our take on that story.
Okay, I appreciate your take.
Clickbait. That's clickbait.
Well, as is most of the things that we report on here. The church did donate 40,000 pounds of food to Las Vegas. So the church was kind of like, I guess this year America turns 250 years old. And so the church, as part of commemorating that, was like, let's donate food to 250 communities in America. Like they partnered with other people, but I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. So that has started. Their first big one was in Las Vegas. And then, they're going to donate over 10 million pounds of food this year to 250 communities in the US to just like help celebrate the 250th anniversary. Our church is cool.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm pretty sure Rexburg or Idaho Falls, somewhere in East Idaho, also got 40,000 pounds of food from the church.
Wow. Yeah. So 40,000. Like, how much is that? Go ahead.
I hope it was all canned hot cocoa. That's what I want.
And Oreos to dip in it.
40,000 pounds of food. So I don't know, a container of peanut butter would be like a pound, right? So it could be 40,000 jars of peanut butter, but
it's a lot.
Okay. I did a little YouTube short about why the Michigan Saints should win a Nobel Peace Prize, and I nominated them for the Nobel Peace Prize because
the Michigan Saints, the ones who
the day after, right? The day after, they still have family members in the hospital. They still
the Grand Blanc Saints. That's who we're talking about. The ones who were attacked. Okay.
Yeah, after somebody drove into their church building and shot their church building, the first thing they did, not the first thing, but almost immediately, they were raising money for the family of the man that shot them. And to me, nothing is worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize more than that, because that is Christianity. Like, that's what it's all about, right? That they're suffering. So President or Neil A. Maxwell said this one time. He said, the great hallmark of Jesus Christ is that he always provided comfort to people who were suffering less than he was. And that's actually something I strive for more and more as I age. I'm like, you know what? Like, I can not just like sit around and think about how bad things are for me. Like, oh, people should be ministering to me. I could be like Jesus and say, like, while he's on the cross dying, he's ministering to people. I could be a little bit more like that and say, whether that person deserves it, doesn't deserve it, is suffering as much as me or not, I can help them. And to me, that's what the Saints in Michigan did. Somebody else was suffering. They didn't measure and be like, well, we deserve aid more or whatever. They said, these people are suffering because of their husband and dad's choice. Let's raise money for them, because who else would raise money for the family of somebody who shot up like people at a church? So to me, that's a Nobel Peace Prize. I hope they win.
I hope they win too. I'm so glad you got to nominate them. There is a story this week in LDS Living that talks about at their stake conference, the Grand Blanc Chapel Stake Conference, they had a display set up for all of the saints there. And basically they set up this huge display all around the gym and posted up cards that had been sent to them from people around the world. So cards of encouragement, of love, of the Savior, all kinds of things. And they posted them all around the entire stake center for everyone to see when they came to church. I thought that was a pretty cool outpouring of love too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Melissa, today is the deadline, actually. I think I have until tomorrow. I could nominate more people for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh.
The thing is, they don't publish the nominations until 50 years after the fact. So that's why I publicized that I nominated the Saints in Michigan, because 50 years from now, when people find out that they were nominated, they won't remember the story. But if there's
Yeah.
somebody else I should nominate, you guys can message the show and let me know. Or
Okay.
Melissa, you can tell me if there's someone else that deserves the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, I'll think really hard about it. I know that you want me to say that you should nominate yourself, but I can't get there, Matt. I can't yet.
You know what? I couldn't even get my own family to vote for me for the Nobel Peace Prize, so I feel like it would be an abuse of power to nominate
Okay.
myself.
All
Yeah,
right. Okay. Do you remember Bonnie Cordon?
of course. Yeah.
Of course. She's fantastic. Former primary and young women general leader. She has been serving for the past 2.5 years as the president of Southern Virginia University. And she announced today that she'll be stepping down in May at graduation. She said it was always meant to be a 3-year presidency. And that's the news.
Did you hear that UVU's president is also stepping down?
I did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We're losing women in higher ed. I'm not thrilled with this. I like these women president. I think they've both done a great job, and I'm sad to lose them both.
3 years isn't very long for a university president, is it?
I mean, it depends. I think
Yeah.
President Meredith at BYU Idaho is hoping for a 3-year plan, but maybe. UVU, I think, was maybe a little longer.
I
Yeah,
think it
3
was
years
7
is.
years-ish for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I imagine that after your, I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, 3 years is short. Sure, it's short.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, real quick, the president of Zimbabwe toured the LDS temple at the open house there. Wasn't that exciting?
Oh, the president of the country?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is exciting.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you. Also, the Salt Lake Tribune has done a recent update saying, here's the data about using the word Mormon. We know that when President Nelson became president of the church, he was like, let's stop using the word Mormon. Let's start using the name of the church. He put out press release. Here's how we want you to do it. The Saints tried really hard to get in line with it. Even us, we finally got in line here at This Week in Latter-days. However, according to the data, the use of the word Mormon has not gone down. And instead, what has happened is people just aren't searching for the church at all. So it's not like they're saying like, oh, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They're just not even saying Mormon. They're not even paying attention to our church at all. There's less interest, less missionary work going on in general is basically the results.
Well, guess what happens if you search the word Mormon? It doesn't point you to our church as much anymore. It points you either to the musical or it points you to anti-Mormon podcasts and video streams. Like in terms of branding, it was horrible because now that word, if you just go by Google search, so who would search that word, right? People, if you're searching that word and you're getting like anti-Mormon content, how are you supposed to find out that it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Sure.
And they even got rid of LDS. People forget this, but he was like, we're not using the word LDS either, although that's what everybody decides is the fine word is LDS. But like when you go to the church, if you email somebody at the church headquarters, their email address is such and such, first name, last name, at churchofjesuschrist.org. And the actual website name is churchofjesuschrist.org. But did you know? I just type in LDS.org because then it points me to the other one. And I don't want to type in that big long churchofjesuschrist.org.
Yeah. It didn't work. But hey, I'm not mad about it. Well, whatever.
We happily changed our name to This Week in Latter-days, right as the data came out that said that people still use the word Mormon all the time. I think I support Kurt in that decision, by the way. Kurt, if you're listening, we love the new name. T Wild is so much more exciting than T Wim. Okay. Here's my story. Sundance Film Festival has a movie playing called Together Forever. This is he identifies as a queer, raised LDS person. There was some. He's a filmmaker.
Can be together forever someday.
So he throws out this pitch for this film contest, and he gets some money to make a short film. It's only 16 minutes long, and it features. I don't know really what happens in the movie. What I know is that there was a woman who's a stripper, and she was in that movie Honora playing a stripper. So she's got a career as a stripper. And then there's some other guy. And basically it is the wedding night after a Mormon wedding. And on the film, it shows them being intimate with each other with garments and everything. And, and you can go watch it at the Sundance Film Festival if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, the lead
It's
in the movie
so
said she was so excited because she's playing a stripper, or she's been a stripper in so many movies, and she's so happy that she gets to play a role where she's playing a virgin, exploring things for the first time. And it throws in this thing, I don't know what roping is, but they've got a scene with roping that the young kids will know what that is and why they do it. And as I read the description, I just thought, how is this like when Melissa says she wants more religion in film? I don't think this is what people are talking about.
when the research says we want more religion in film, this is not what they're talking about. And it's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
You can make a movie about whatever you want. I'm not going to go see it. It's fine.
I'm surprised. I thought
Yeah.
for sure you were going to go see that one.
You did, huh? No, I usually support the Sundance Film Festival. I mean, I still do. They have shorts and full-length movies that I get to show to some of my students who are our film class, and they have some that are just for high school students. And we do a mini film festival every year, and it's quite entertaining. And actually, I learn a lot. But something like this, not my cup of tea. We're going to jump to some quick crime news.
Yeah.
There's a funny story out of Yale, the university, about a burglary at a Mormon church. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to read this directly to you so that you can understand what happened. Okay. At about 2:15 p.m., so middle of the afternoon, a male wearing a black bubble jacket, black pants, and black and white sneakers and a green Tulane University ball cap entered the church building and then left with white pants and white robe attire. Police did not say if anything else was taken. The suspect walked west and was later seen in the area of the Yale Law School before leaving campus. Investigation is ongoing.
Doesn't that sound like baptismal clothes? It sounds like he went in and stole baptismal clothes.
Right? And was he homeless and just needed new clothes? Or like it's the middle of the afternoon. Did he break in? Was the church open? Was he a member? Like there's so many loose ends here. But what a fascinating burglary. Yeah. Like, is it burglary to steal? I don't know. I don't actually think the church building keeps baptismal clothes.
Sure they do.
No, you have to go get them before your baptism. They don't just keep them in stock in the church building, do they?
There's a closet by the baptistry where you can. They're all kept.
Okay, well,
the thing
maybe
is,
the guy just needed clothes.
They're usually behind like a locked door, right? So it's like, he probably had a key to get to them. It seems like weird that you'd be like, okay, I'm going to break into the baptistry that's sort of near the bathroom and see, here's a closet. There's got to be something of value in there.
And I'm going to wear it out. I'm going to take my clothes off and wear it out. Maybe he just had a bathroom emergency. Honestly, he could have just had an unauthorized evacuation and he needed to quickly change his clothes. And he was like, I think they keep clothes in there. Anyways.
Well, my story is an Oregon woman who's filed a lawsuit against the church alleging that a high priest in Las Vegas sexually abused her for a long time, and the church must have known about it, and so she deserves lots of money.
By high priest, they mean just somebody who holds...
the office of a high priest. It sounds so much more salacious to say a high priest in your lawsuit, right? And then it's like, and he was doing church-related functions. I'm like, it was probably her home teacher, and he was a high priest. And,
okay.
I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of details, but that's my guess.
We're not pro-abuse. I do think we don't, maybe we sue the person who did the abuse, not the church every single time. I don't know.
The person who did the abuse doesn't have anywhere near the amount of money as the church.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
We'll follow up on that if more details come in, right, Matt? We are hot on the leads of both of those crime stories.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We're all over that.
Yeah. Okay, good. Are you ready, Matt? I've got trivia time for us today.
Okay, all right.
I am so excited about the Super Bowl this year. I don't know if you remember, but I have been a Seattle Seahawks fan for as long as I have known about football. I love them so much. It's hard to be a Seahawks fan because they don't ever do well. Now, Matt, it's been like 13 years since they've done well.
So I am a Miami Dolphins football fan, and they have not been to the Super Bowl since the 1980s. So no, I don't feel a lot of like sympathy for Seahawks fans.
I don't need sympathy. I'm so thrilled with them. Now, there is this internet lure that I've seen more than once that every time we get a new Catholic pope, the Seahawks do well. And
Oh,
it like correlates it for all of the the last century. So it's probably true.
yeah,
Um,
probably.
thank you. Here's your trivia. Okay.
Okay.
So we've got Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots. How many members of the LDS Church are currently on either the management staff or their players on the football teams on any of the teams playing in this year's Super Bowl? Did
So the
that make sense?
Patriots and the Seahawks, how many
Yeah.
members of the church are on the coaching staff or the roster of those two teams?
Yeah. And I'm going to give you some choices.
Okay.
You either get to pick 0, or you get to pick between 1 and 5, or you get to pick more than 5.
More than 5.
Oh, really? You're confident?
Pretty confident.
Okay, dang it, you're right. It's 6 that I can tell. Okay.
Yeah.
Seahawks have George Holani. He's a running back. He's from Boise State. He's a member of the church. Rashid Shaheed, and he's also a returner. He joined last year. He's a member of the church. He's going to do great in the Super Bowl. Drake Thomas, he's a linebacker. And then John Schneider is the president of football operations, and he has long led the Seahawks front office and is a well-known member of the church in the community. So Seahawks win as far as church members. And then Patriots have Kyrese Tonga, and he's a BYU alumni and a devout member of the church. And then Brendan James, and he's on the practice squad, but I think it counts, and he's a member of the church.
It counts.
And then, yeah. And then, while not a member himself, the Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel has a unique connection to the faith's football culture. He has long been a vocal admirer of the BYU way.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Anyways,
That
that
counts.
is via Google Gemini. You're welcome. I chose Gemini because I know it's your preferred AI. So
Yeah, that's my preferred one. I believe that one.
I know.
Okay, well, Melissa, now it's time for big deal, little deal, no deal.
No, dude. That's so good.
All right, here's the first story.
Okay.
Alicia Ann Seymour, a Utah mother of 4, has been accused of abducting her children allegedly because she feared that the end times were coming.
Whoa.
Is this a big... By the way, have you heard this story at all?
No.
Okay. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1. Big deal.
Now, I can't wait for you to tell me about this. I'd like to say I said big deal because it has very Lori Daybell vibes.
Yeah,
isn't this how Lori Daybell started?
Yes, as an end time. Well, so she's from West Jordan, Utah.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, I'm not positive she's a member of our church, but she's from West Jordan, Utah. She was getting impressions that Salt Lake City was about to be destroyed as part of the end times. So she took her 4 children to Croatia to be safe, but she has a husband who also has custody of those children, and so she was arrested for taking her kids.
She went without her husband, or are they divorced?
They're divorced.
Okay.
So she went without his knowledge, without his permission, took the kids to Croatia. And so she was arrested in Croatia, and the kids are now in an orphanage in Croatia, and the dad's trying to get them back, but it's Croatia, so he has to find an attorney that can do everything in Croatian and get the kids back. And
so they're in an orphanage because she's in jail?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. What if she's right, Matt? What if it is the end times and her children are the only ones who are protected?
Yeah, that would be really
I guess I'm confused about why Croatia would be the place that they would be safe from the end of times. Like, isn't the end of times the end of the whole world?
No, it was Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City
Just
specifically is that's what she was worried about. Is I live in West Jordan, Salt Lake's going to be destroyed, and I think Croatia is a less expensive European country. So if you're a mother with 4 kids in West Jordan, you probably can't afford to go to Paris, but why not go to Dubrovnik or something like that?
Okay. And can I ask a follow-up question? And it's okay if you don't know the answer. Did she make this decision shortly after the earthquake that happened, about a week and a half ago? Because that could have been signaling the beginning of the end of times if you are one of the people who believe that, which I heard that theory more than once after the earthquake, which was a 4 point something, not that big. Anyway, what do you think?
From what I gathered, this happened around Christmas time, or around the first of the new year. So they were missing for a long time.
Okay.
So it took him a while to find the woman and the children. He was trying to find them for a while. So I think it predated the earthquake. But maybe maybe that's what the premonition was. Like maybe the
Mm,
earthquake, something cosmic happened, that it wasn't as bad as it was maybe prophesied to be, or I don't know. I don't know.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
I try to keep up on the end times rumors because I find them to be entertaining.
And the man
But
with the spreadsheet, you got to know what he's saying about the end
I'm
of
telling
times.
you,
I
every
know.
time he puts up something about end of times, he gets thousands and thousands of people watching his videos.
Oh,
Um,
you
and
being
so
one of them.
I can't help it, but I haven't heard this one. So I wish I had followed her on social media. Alicia, I'm sorry I wasn't there to hear the warning before you left. But
And also,
yeah.
man with the spreadsheet, we'd really like to talk to you. We're going to learn your name at one point and reach out to you. But forever, you're just man with the spreadsheet.
One of our listeners told us his name.
I
Melissa, you
know.
have a whole list of people that I should reach out to, and I
I
have not
know.
done it. I
It's
know.
okay. I forgive you. I
Okay.
forgive you.
All right. Next
Okay.
story. I got the next one. I get two in a row. Ward disability specialists have a unique opportunity to bless others. Is that a big deal? Little deal? No deal. 3, 2, 1. No
No
deal.
deal. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we agree. I think everybody who has a calling has a unique opportunity to bless others. Have you heard
And
of
I
a
don't
ward disability specialist before?
um I think every ward, when there's an active member that has disabilities, calls somebody
Mm-hmm.
to be a ward disability specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been around as a calling for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
We
but
both
yeah,
agree we would stink at that calling.
I am not a very good administrator, because I get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. So I would be at anything where I'm in charge of like making sure something happens or looking out for people.
Mm. I
So yeah,
just
I'll be
don't like people. I just don't. I'd prefer not to.
um now, because for 10 years my wife and I had adults with disabilities live with us. We
Yeah.
did foster care for them.
Yeah.
I'm so happy when somebody with disabilities comes to church, or like to sit with them, to be with them, to try to. And I see ministering people in my ward all the time that minister to people with disabilities, and they're happy to like help. I'm all about the one-on-one ministering, but like the specialist calling, I don't know. Then I feel like every testimony meeting I have to share my testimony about how special people with disabilities are, or something like that, because it's like
We're
my
so
calling.
jaded, Matt. We're so jaded. Okay, well, there's a great article about it. If you're interested in what that calling is and what that unique opportunity is, then you disagree with us that it is no deal. And now here's my next story. Fact or fiction? Do temples really increase nearby home property values?
Hmm.
Big deal, little deal, or no deal? 3, 2, 1.
Little deal.
Little, yeah, I'm going
Yeah,
little deal. Have you heard this before?
I've
That if
definitely
you
heard
build
that
your home
rumor.
by a temple, your home value is going to go up. And do you
Yeah.
think it's true or not?
Regionally, possibly. There's so many temples now. I don't know if it's universally true, but I would lean towards sure. It's probably true.
Okay, it's not true.
Oh,
So this is from data, Mormon Metrics. He does a lot of data, but I really do think this is interesting. So what he says is that they don't build temples in random locations that subsequently boom. Instead, they identify neighborhoods that are already winning. So
yeah.
before a temple is announced, the zip code where the temple is going to be built is typically 35% wealthier than the average zip code,
Hmm.
69% more educated, and listen to this, 447% more populous.
Hmm.
So basically, the results are the church doesn't create a real estate wave, it surfs it. That is good writing. Hey, I'll accept Mormon
It's
metrics. That's a great line. The church doesn't
clever.
create real estate wave, it surfs it. Nice. Nice
I
done.
have I have anecdotal stories that are
Uh huh.
not that don't follow that trend. So I think
For
that's probably true,
example.
right? Like, so for example, like if the church is going to build a temple in Manhattan, sure,
Mhm.
you're not increasing the property value in Manhattan. But when they built the Pocatello, Idaho temple, there was no neighborhood there when they announced that
Yeah.
temple, and then the
Yeah.
neighborhood was Bountiful, Utah, same kind of story. There wasn't a
Draper,
neighborhood there.
Utah, same
Right.
story. Yeah, we
Uh,
agree.
yeah, Liberty was like that. But here's a funny story. So I have a friend now. Henry B. Eyring is in his 90s, but back in the day, he was president at Rick's College, and there's this guy in my ward who he's that old, and he was buddy buddy with Henry B. Eyring back. They go skiing and all that stuff. And one time after Henry B. Eyring left, and he was in the Quorum of the 12, they were announcing some kind of a temple or something like that, and he was like, "Hey, Henry." I would really love to get in on the action. Could you like hint at the location of la 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 so I could buy some property? He said that Henry B. Eyring was personally deeply offended by that and told him, don't ever joke like that ever again. Because like it's such a big, like they're so concerned about this perception that people would try to profit off of relationships with people in high places in the church. So at least the anecdotal story is, if you have a friend who's in high places, don't joke about that kind of stuff. They don't like it. But it also
Okay.
seems like it wouldn't be a bad investment if you got that information in advance, right? Like,
Well, you can always look at where the temple owns big tracts, or not the temple, but the church owns big tracts of land. I mean, normally when a temple is announced, the land is already owned by the church. So,
yeah, but like the one they're building in Rexburg, right?
oh,
It's like on a highway, and like there's literally dozens of these highways where the church owns land. And
gotcha.
in this area now, these people that own that farmland and that own those homes and all of that stuff, right now there's going to be a whole, it's not a neighborhood, it's like commercial stuff that's going in there, right? Banks and car
Hmm.
washes and all that stuff. Like they're making bank off of, somebody's making bank off of that land, because now there's going to be a temple there and people are going to come there, so you need to have restaurants and things like that.
Car washes. Okay.
Car washes.
Yeah.
What's more American than a car wash? Okay, here's my story. How Mormon women fought a Republican-led redistricting initiative in Utah and won. Here's a quote from the story. People want to see Mormon women as either the secret wives or as a trad wife. We're neither of those. Is that a big deal? Little deal? No deal. 3, 2, 1. Big deal.
I probably think big deal for a different reason than you do, though. But you can go ahead and tell us what you think.
I say it's a big deal because the story is in a British newspaper. So
Oh,
anytime that an international newspaper is going to cover a story about Utah women, I say it's a big deal.
and how did they win a redistricting initiative? Like, where in Utah are we talking? Provo?
So no, so Utah is right now they're having this fight about redrawing the district boundaries, right? Because
Right.
they
A lot of
and so
states are.
yeah, but Utah is the one where the Supreme Court said what the legislature did was unconstitutional
Okay.
because of there was this initiative and all of that stuff. So this group of women first started that initiative to say, let's have a nonpartisan redistricting where the legislature just kind of goes with what the people say and you do nonpartisan. And then they led the effort in the lawsuit that overturned the legislature's decision.
Gotcha. I am more interested in the secret wives or trad wives angle to
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
I do think that, and now that you said it's in a British paper, I do think that people do want to look at LDS women as either or, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously there's the two extremes, but LDS women are as normal as women can be, except for this one thing. I do think they're more politically active than a lot of other women around the nation. Can you do a study on that?
Actually, my neighbor, she's a historian, and historically that's true. So her big thing historically is the Chicago World's Fair in like the 18 somethings. I can't remember what it was. And the suffragettes all got together to say, let's organize and try and get women the right to vote, try and fight
Yeah.
for women's equality. And they were all shocked, like all the names we know, like Susan B. Anthony and Emmeline Wells. They were surprised because there was this huge contingent of polygamous Mormon wives that showed up, and they were early on, like the feminists that were fighting for women's equality have always been members of our church in the United
Mhm.
States.
Currently,
Because
do you think we're more politically active?
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's now part of the political culture of our community that
Mm,
the women were involved, have stayed involved. And by the way, it's part of our religion. Like President Oakes regularly talks about our responsibility to get involved in politics. And so,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was good for you to be able to have a little bit of a soapbox in those classes that you're supposed to be teaching. But as we heard in our listener comments, you're not doing so well at. That was a good rebuttal. That was good. Good
Yeah,
job.
I should do better of like trying to indoctrinate students into participation in politics. All right, it's time for This Week in Mormon History.
Bum-ba-da-dum.
Using the word Mormon in every segment of our podcast. Okay. 75 years ago, this is Spencer W. Kimball. He said, I reached the office at 9:30 to attend a special meeting of the presidency and the Council of the 12 to consider the matter of missionary work. inasmuch as there has been great confusion and misunderstanding and opposition on the part of many of the draft boards. So the draft boards this is 1951, right? Korean War is going on, and so they're drafting young people to fight in the war. Okay, so
Obviously, I knew that 1951 was the Korean War. Obviously, I knew that.
Let's see. It seemed best that we discontinue calling missionaries of draft age for the time being. As a result, there is an increase of missionary callings to young married men who serve 2 or more years separated from their wives.
What? I didn't know this happened.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Wow. Wait, so an increase. So were they already doing that and now they were just going to do it more?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they stopped calling they pulled back on the number of young single men that they called and increased the number of young married men because married young men were not eligible for the draft.
Okay, I have something to say. I think if this were to happen again, not a prediction, that I would prefer you call older, like middle-aged married men than young married men. Like young married men have children to care for. Like call someone like me and my husband's age, call empty nester to do that. It's interesting.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how we how different it is now, missionary service, right?
Yeah.
Those things change all the time.
That wasn't that long ago. That's crazy. Huh.
Okay. 135 years ago. Now, this is a long story, but there's some fun things in it. Okay, so this is January 30th, 1891. After some little discussion, it was decided that it would be best for ZCMI. Do you remember ZCMI?
The big department store?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore, but they're just okay. So it would be best for ZCMI and other corporations to cease paying tithing on their earnings, but leave the stockholders to pay from their dividends. The custom, however, of deducting the tithing from the wages of employees was not discontinued.
Wait. Okay. ZCMI, as I recall, stands for Zion Cooperative Mercantile Institute. Was it owned by the church?
Yes.
ZCMI was a department store. It was owned by the church, and they took your 10% tithing out of your wages before they gave you your check?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
And ZCMI was paying tithing on its earnings. And so it made it unattractive.
As a corporation paid 10%?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, then they would give dividends to their shareholders. And they're like, people aren't buying stock in ZCMI because they're losing 10% off the top because it's going to tithing to the church.
Wow.
So, okay, ZCMI is not going to pay tithing, but the employees are still going to be forced to pay tithing, right? Take it right out of their checks.
Wow.
Now, here's the reason why they made the change. It was thought proper in some circumstances to induce Eastern Gentiles of respectability to take stock with us in some of our large corporations. They would thus feel interested in protecting us in case of attack on our institutions.
Oh.
Yeah, because this was the time when the Supreme Court, there was all the fights over polygamy and all of that stuff, right? So it's if you own stock in ZCMI, then maybe they'll be more supportive of our cause, and they're not wanting to buy stock because it's paying tithing, and so we won't have it pay tithing anymore. But
okay, wow. Okay,
that's fun stuff, huh?
Yeah, I'm just wow. Can you imagine if that was happening today?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that before you get your paycheck, they take tithing out of your paycheck before they give it to you.
I mean, because of the things that the church owns.
Well, they sold them. There's the insurance company, right? DMBA.
Don't they own the Deseret News or they own the property of the mall downtown in Salt Lake. There's a lot of Okay. Well, guess what? Maybe we should bring it back. Enforced 10%, enforced tithing for all church employees. Enforced.
Okay. I don't love that idea. I like
hate
agency.
That idea. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this is the last one. 150 years ago, January of 1876, Apostle Charles C. Rich asks bishops of the Bear Lake Stake to follow Brigham Young's counsel by doing away with round dancing, which is the waltz. Get rid of the waltz entirely.
Oh, wait, why? What's wrong with the waltz?
So 4 years later, at a stake priesthood meeting, the following rules are accepted by unanimous vote. Quote, We will not practice waltzes or any other round dances in our assemblies. Swinging with one arm around the lady's waist shall not be permitted in our assemblies. Only Jane Austen balls for us, where you like put your hands in the air and I don't know.
Wow.
I want
Yeah,
speaking of
that's
religious
vulgar.
themes
Just dancing like that is so abhorrent.
with your hand around
Um,
her waist. Like
I
speaking
wonder
of
what.
go ahead.
No, I wonder what sort of slang would round dancing be today. Like there's some pretty different kind of dancing, round dancing going on today.
This is for all of our like movie and TV producers that listen to this podcast. This is the show, right? Charles C. Rich time travels and he's dropped at like a BYU dance, a YSA stake dance, somewhat. He's just dropped in youth dances and just says, "What do you think of the Saints today?" It's the whole show is Charles C. Rich reaction videos to modern life in our church.
You've got $1 million idea here, Matt. This is perfect.
Hey, everybody. We think you should subscribe to This Week in Latter Days on YouTube. It's the same great content with a brand new logo.
And our faces instead of just our voices. Woo, woo.
Also, we read your comments. And by the way, if you're already subscribed to This Week in Mormons, you don't have to change. We changed it for you. We just brought you right over. Also, if you want, you can listen to my other podcast, The Latter Day Lens. Sometimes I make Melissa very angry with the things I say on that podcast.
Every week. Not angry, just disappointed. Just disappointed.
You can, I don't know if the email address is working, so I won't plug the email address. You can go to the website, thisweekinlatterdays.com. You can leave a voice comment, and you can see if you click on the About link, it'll tell you all the people who used to host this podcast, but none of the current hosts. But mostly, listener, we want to thank you for listening to the ever imitated, never duplicated, original Mormon News podcast. We'll talk to you again later on.